It was the last thing anyone expected. One of America's most powerful pastors, commanding a $100 million fortune and preaching to tens of thousands each week in a former NBA arena, now faces scandals that could force him to step away. A ministry that turned faith into a global empire worth over $150 million now faces lawsuits, hidden cash revelations, and growing outrage. The questions surrounding this moment go beyond one man, touching the structures of modern megachurches. To understand how it came to this, one must look past the polished public image and into the inner workings of the operation. The spectacle of Lakewood Church. Lakewood Church does not resemble any traditional house of worship. Housed in what was once the Houston Rockets arena, it seats 16,000 in sweeping arcs around a stage bathed in LED screens and lights. Each weekend, 50,000 congregants attend across multiple services, surpassing annual attendance of many entire denominations. The experience is meticulously choreographed. Ushers guide families to their seats, camera crews capture the spectacle, and the building hums with anticipation. Beyond Houston, Lakewood's broadcasts reach over 100 countries, delivering sermons to living rooms, prisons, and hospitals, turning a local congregation into a global audience. A digital empire, Lakewood's influence extends far beyond its physical walls. Streaming services, social media sharing, and airport book sales amplify the ministry's reach worldwide. Millions tune in online, translating sermons into Spanish, Portuguese, Russian, and Mandarin. The church functions like a hybrid of a media company and a sports franchise, with influence measured in attendance, viewers, downloads, and donations. The scale and efficiency of the operation are staggering, enabling the pastor to reach millions without ever leaving the pulpit. In this setup, faith and spectacle merge into a vast, carefully engineered machine designed to attract attention and sustain loyalty. The Prosperity Gospel Engine. At the center of Lakewood's success is a carefully tailored message. Joel Osteen's sermons emphasize financial success, health, and happiness, rarely touching on sin, judgment, or repentance. This theology, known as the Prosperity Gospel, aligns faith with the American dream. The stronger your belief, the greater your material rewards. The message is stripped of fear, repackaged as hope, positivity, and self-empowerment. Over decades, this approach turned Osteen into a publishing and speaking powerhouse. Millions of books sold worldwide, combined with merchandise and broadcast deals, generated a fortune while reinforcing the core message: faith is measured by personal gain. Wealth and criticism. Osteen claims to take no salary from Lakewood, yet royalties and licensing fees have made him one of the wealthiest preachers in the world. For followers, the absence of guilt or sacrifice is comforting. For critics, it highlights a tension between faith and profit. The ministry operates on the promise that devotion should produce abundance, but wealth at this scale invites scrutiny. Skeptics question the priorities behind sermons designed to inspire financial growth. And critics argue that when faith becomes a commodity, the spiritual mission risks being eclipsed by the business of belief. The 2017 flood controversy. August 2017 brought Houston to its knees. Widespread flooding displaced families, yet images of Lakewood's dry parking lots sparked outrage. The church's Facebook statement claimed inaccessibility due to flooding, but photos contradicted the claim. Public reaction was swift, with trending hashtags and media coverage questioning the church's generosity. Osteen's later statement promised shelter, but the doors remained closed until pressure mounted. For many, this incident shattered the image of unwavering charity, revealing an organization more concerned with perception than action. It marked the first major public crack in Lakewood's carefully cultivated persona of benevolence. Hidden cash and financial questions. In March 2021, a plumber discovered bags of cash and checks hidden inside the church walls, totaling nearly $600,000. The same amount reported stolen years earlier in a burglary. The discovery raised questions about oversight and accountability. Lakewood offered no public audit or detailed explanation, leaving forensic accountants and the public perplexed. How could such a sum remain undetected for years in a building with tight security? The episode underscored concerns about financial transparency and fueled speculation about the church's handling of donations, adding another layer of scrutiny to a ministry already under pressure from critics and watchdogs. Legal challenges. Beyond finances, Lakewood has faced legal scrutiny over marketing practices. In 2022, a lawsuit accused the church of using a celebrity's image without consent. Though settled quietly, the case pointed to a pattern: aggressive branding and seemingly lax adherence to financial and legal standards. Media lawyers noted that the church's approach pushed conventional boundaries, leaving many wondering who truly oversees operations. The combination of legal, financial, and ethical questions created a perception of vulnerability, raising concerns not just about governance, but about whether the church's internal checks and balances are sufficient to protect the community and its global reputation. Security failures and tragedy. On February 11, 2024, tragedy struck. A former member entered Lakewood with an AR-15 and her young son, opening fire during service. 2 people were wounded, including her child. Off-duty police working security neutralized the threat, but the incident exposed gaps in safety protocols. Bag checks were inconsistent, volunteer screening was insufficient, and reliance on off-duty officers revealed vulnerabilities. The event highlighted the stakes of operating a congregation at the scale of a sports arena. Failures are not abstract, they can be deadly. Families were traumatized, and questions about leadership responsibility intensified. The inner circle. Lakewood's operations are tightly controlled by the Osteen family. Joel and Victoria Osteen serve as co-pastors, while their children occupy key roles in youth ministry and worship. Every major decision, from donations to charity partnerships, is handled internally. Outsiders, including donors and journalists, have limited visibility, relying on vague statements or celebratory videos. Critics argue this lack of transparency undermines moral authority. While the inner circle ensures loyalty and cohesion, it also concentrates risk. Without independent oversight, errors or misconduct could go unnoticed until they reach a crisis point. Succession and stability risks. The ministry structure relies heavily on Joel Osteen's personal brand. Revenue, trust, and engagement are tied to his presence. Experts warn that if he steps aside, revenue could drop sharply, potentially by 70% in a single year. Family members might attempt to fill the gap, but history shows that when a charismatic founder leaves, empires built on personality often struggle to survive. Staff, suppliers, and satellite ministries depend on continuous donations. If trust falters, the ripple effects could be profound, affecting both the financial and spiritual ecosystem of the church and its global followers. Transparency and accountability. Mega churches like Lakewood operate with less transparency than many corporations. Despite massive budgets exceeding $90 million annually, the church has never released independent audits. Critics call this a moral and practical failure, as millions of donors entrust funds without oversight. Public scrutiny is growing, but accountability remains minimal. The true test will be whether congregations begin demanding clarity and responsibility. The church's legacy, and potentially its survival, hinges not on spectacle, but on whether followers insist that faith and stewardship go hand in hand. Conclusion. Questions over certainty. Lakewood Church exemplifies the scale, influence, and controversy of modern megachurches. Its global reach, financial power, and charismatic leadership have created both devotion and doubt. Scandals, financial opacity, and security failures expose vulnerabilities in an empire built on personality and performance. The coming years will test not only the church's leadership, but also the willingness of its global audience to demand accountability. Ultimately, the story highlights a broader question. When faith and spectacle collide at massive scale, can institutions survive scrutiny without true transparency, or will trust crumble under the weight of concentrated power?